Greetings, Judah. DFG here, getting it slight. Hey guys, I just sit here for about an hour doing something that went totally against my better judgment, and that something was to sit here and watch the presidential debates. And I'm telling you guys, what a shit show, for lack of a better word, shit show. And I understand that we have no horse in this race, at least we shouldn't, although many of our people, are under the false perception that you do. I was talking to someone that I hold in high regard, and they made the statement that they would be voting because our ancestors fought for that vote. Well, there's no question that many of our ancestors in the last 100 years plus, were fought and were killed in many cases, murdered in most cases, for the right to vote. But I will tell you, Judah, they weren't talking about the right to vote for racists. I mean, Donald Trump made it crystal clear. Give you an example, the Central Park Five. Those five innocent young teenagers. I mean, we all know about the full-page ad he took in the New York Times, I think it was, promoting that these young boys should have been killed for being falsely accused of raping, a white woman. All these black, so-called black and Hispanic young boys, as we know, that were exonerated, a few years back. So he wanted them, all of them, murdered, given the death sentence. And then on the other side, you got Joe Biden, who pretty much said he didn't give a rat's ass about our people in regards to the crime bill that he supported and sponsored. Clinton wrote it, he supported it and sponsored. And he went on this wild, maddening rampage about he didn't care how underprivileged we were as a people. He didn't care that our fathers were locked up, in these penitentiaries, these new form of prisons, plantation prisons is what they really were. He didn't care. He didn't care about the fact that they put the drugs in our communities in the 80s to destroy the family. He didn't care about any of that stuff. All he cared about was his mama not getting knocked in the head and his two crackhead sons, not getting their asses whipped because they can't defend themselves like a man ought to be able to, or his little granddaughters who may somehow, be offended because, I guess some, black man, may want to do something to them, which, is a whole story within itself. These so-called black men, wanting to rape white women. When, if you look at history and looked at history with all honesty, there were probably 1,000 times to one white men raping black women over the last 450 years. I'm going to say that again. Probably 1,000 times to one white men raping black women over the last 450, 460 years up until this present time. There's hardly an instance where you can see a black man out there raping some white woman somewhere. They were the perpetuators of rape of our people. But you would never know it when you listen to the way those devils talk about it. I digress. But I come right back, to this voting issue. Our ancestors, the ones who got in the middle of this I guess, misdirected, spiritual bankrupt war that told them somehow Yah wanted them in the middle of heathens fighting and siding up with one heathen versus the other heathen when both heathens hated you. If our people fought and died for the vote, they fought and died to vote because they thought that they might be able to influence the outcome of laws that would protect them. And we see how what that got us, right? Right now, by far, the most incarcerated ethnic group in America are so-called black, African American, and Hispanic men. So that's just to show you the sham and the foolishness, you know what I'm saying? The ridiculousness of us thinking that somehow or another bigots will invite you to the party, and then when you get there, are going to let you go out with their daughters. If they invited you there, they invited you there for the entertainment, to be spectacles among them, to ridicule you, to take advantage of you, to rape some of you, drug some of you. As their history has always proven out, whenever we were amongst a crowd of them, it always has ended bad for us. Always. So sure, they want you to come over, but they want you to come over because you're the entertainment, dummy. In other words, they need you to pad their numbers so that their constituents can push whatever agenda that they want. But they need your number, Judah, to help them be able to successfully accomplish that goal. And then once they're there, they're going to forget about you, as they've proven time and time and time again. And that's why I continue to say the only reason that any of us should even be considering talking about going out there voting for one of these, the so-called lesser of two evils, is that one of them in writing contract, accountability, to be scrutinized, and hopefully if they fail to fulfill, it will be considered, a violation, and they will be impeached from the position of the presidency, and that is reparations for the people or the descendants of African Americans, slaves, so-called. Other than that, I'm talking about 8, 9, 10, $15 trillion to every black household, which is, by the way, by far economically the lowest by far in this country. Average black household worth something like, I think the last number was $2,100. Average white household over $1 million. And you think going out there voting, all this voting for 150 some odd years, and that's where it got us, where we are today. And when you listen to these two clowns, I heard Biden make the comment, what we need to do for y'all people, for what we need to do for black people. Now think about that. I know some of you guys say, well, yeah, that's what he should be saying. Seriously? You men, that's what a white man should be saying to you, to this nation about you, to the Indians in this nation, East Indians, the Asians, the Russians, the South Americans, all these people sitting there listening to a white man talk about he needs to take care of you because you need help. How arrogant it is of them and how shameful it is of us when we go out there and support these kind of characters. Just insulting us to our faces. But we're so, hungry for that hug, as they say, that white hug, that white squeeze, the white batting of the eyes, that we will take any kind of insult to be for the delusion of inclusion. This nation was built on the blood and the enslavement and the murdering, the raping, pillaging of our people. It can only continue to exist with the murdering, the raping, the incarcerating, the pillaging, and the humiliation and the taking and the use of our people. Why would they ever change their attitudes towards us? Tell me why. We had 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes, and we'll be done in a minute. Judah, the question. Why? Tell me why, Judah, that they would want to change for us. How is it in their advantage? If their advantage has been taking advantage, so Judah, for us to have advantage, that means they would have to stop taking advantage, and for them to stop taking advantage would put them at a disadvantage. And you really think the illusion of you going out there voting in the name of that's what my parents died for is going to, change the hearts that are hard and cold as stone. It'll never happen. Not in your lifetime and not in your great children's lifetime if Yah tarries. And by the way, that's already a factual statement. This humiliating and atrocious attitude, murdering, killing, imprisoning, incarcerating, raping, robbing, stealing, gentrification of our communities, redlining, redistricting, things that they have done to keep us outside of wealth has been going on now for 5 generations. Go all the way back to 1865. For 5 generations. That means your great, great, great grandparents, children, are still going through the same humiliation, just like your great, great grandchildren will be going forward going through it. If you think that it's all going to change because you're going to go out there and vote for one racist over another racist, thinking that because the other racist somehow or another doesn't seem like he's as big as racist as the other, even though the latter racist, Joe Biden, has already stated clearly that he's going to fund the police department by $300 million, a police department that's already militarized. And who militarized the police department? A Democrat. What Democrat that militarized the local police departments, the SWAT teams, all these military equipments, all the stuff these police officers? Oh, that was the Clinton administration. And the Biden administration signed off on it. Democrat, Democrat, and more Democrats. If you want to include Harris, who locked our men up and said, let them stay, because at the end of the day, we need more, prisoners to get all this free labor done. Or should I say slaves? But again, I want to say 2 Chronicles 2:14, Yah people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And also, Yah is judging us because we refuse to come out from among these heathens. He told us to be separate from them. Don't touch their things. In other words, the things that matter to them should never matter to you, Judah. Because the things that matter to them are strictly materialized, lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, lust with pride. They're patriots. They're heroes. That's all that matters to them. This uncontrolling, burning lust for materialistic things, power, greed, and prestige. And none of that matters to them if they can't have niggas to look down their noses at. Whether they're the liberals, the soft racists, the hidden ones, the covered ones we talked about a few videos back, or the so-called obvious racists, the Klan, the white supremacist groups, those dogs. You got one dog that'll lick you and then eat your food when you're not looking, and the other dog will bite you and make you food while you're howling. And you choose one of those dogs, thinking that somehow or another that dog has your best interest in mind. You got to be special, kind of stupid if you're buying into this foolishness. You need to leave that crap alone. Your best vote is to keep it to your damn self. Hold it till you get something that's worthy of it. And what I saw in these 2 debates, if you saw these debates, you damn sure didn't see something worthy of your vote. If you did, you already done drunk the Kool-Aid. You lost. You are a lost soul. If you that mess, you heard them both. If you and go back and look at the 3 minutes, a 3-minute video on Joe Biden, the Biden bill speech. The Biden bill speech. Go listen to it. 3 minutes. And then you tell me if this is the lesser of the 2 evils. Just go listen to it. Just Google it up. It'll take you. So get off this video, go Google it up, and then replay this video, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. People of Yah, it's time to wake up. It's time. This thing is wrapping up, guys. The end is here. You see what's going on with the oceans now? Here in Louisiana, the Nile River. Some of these idiots call it the Mississippi River. I walked over there about a month ago, and the river banks have receded probably at least 40, 50 feet. And now they're talking about the oceans doing the same thing. Nobody's talking about some kind of blob in the water. Son, daughter, this is judgment. Something is coming from the sky. And it's coming fast. And most of us are so preoccupied with that bullshit on television that we have not prepared for Yah. Not even thinking about Yah. Thinking about some bullshit, some petty foolishness that really means nothing at the end of the day. Your mind should be uniting with your people. You know, the sisters of Judah. You should be standing up there saying, I'm not going to be this foolish woman who Isaiah chapter 3 and 4 talk about with your pride and your arrogance and your nose stuck up. You should be in a position right now where you're saying, I need to figure out what direction I need to get in to have protection under a man. And that should be all you're concerned about. What you're going to have to bring when you go to that family, and if that man is the right man who has shown the ability to cover you and yours and his. But it's time to wake up. And that's what this message is tell you, is that that should tell you. You look at the debate. One of those two men are going to be the president of the United States next year. One of those two men. Look at them. Old ass, expressionless, colorless, no creativity. All they did was insulted each other and played the dozens with each other. And that's what you want to line up with. You think judgment is not already here? That's what's coming. No matter which one of them wins, that's what you're going to get. And you want to be a part of that foolishness? You got time for that? You better be storing up food and goods and weapons. Again, figuring out how to get a stronger community to go up against all these what they call these contact tracers who are going to be knocking on your door, or at least sending the military to your door in a month or two saying, I think somebody in there got COVID. Go snatch them out of there because they only have one bathroom and they got two people in there. So you need to take one of them to a FEMA camp near you and lock them up until the other one gets better, or whatever happens after that. Maybe the guillotine would be the right solution. That's what should be on your mind, Judah. That's what's on my mind. That's what's on every person who's filled of the Rahuk, the so-called spirit of Yah. He said, redeem the time. We're supposed to be thinking about this stuff. We're supposed to be putting ourselves in a position to be prepared for this. But some of you, because of your own selfishness, your own greed, your own arrogance, or you just don't want to deal with reality, you just want to pretend like you don't see any of this shit that's coming and going, that's coming down. You want to pretend like you don't see any people walking around with masks on their face, scared to walk 6 feet with one another. Talking about mass vaccination of people that a year ago you knew it was coming because they were trying to enforce it, and now all of a sudden you ready to lay down and take it. They shouldn't give you a vaccine in your own, they ought to give you a vaccination in your ass. Or better yet, maybe a kick in it. Wake you up. So, I don't know. I guess you're going to do what you continue to do. A lot of you guys, I know you don't give a shit about what I'm saying. Some of you, maybe it's making you think a little bit. At least go do some research, investigation. Make sure you're prepared. But whatever decision you make, your blood is on your hands. Good or bad. And again, I'm going to talk to you brothers. You better wake the hell up. You guys are caught up in the wrong BS. You don't know nothing about nothing, and you're a grown-ass man, and all you know about is some PlayStation game and some entertainment on television. And you sisters, all you caring about was some petty bullshit about, Mary, Jane, and Dick. And no more time to waste. That was a waste of time. And if you run your asses out here playing this whole voting game, may Yah judge you for it. And when he does, I want you to remember this message, your warning, not to get involved in it.